But first, everyone is talking about that tense conversation between President Obama and Governor Jan Brewer on the tarmac at Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport yesterday. It resulted in Brewer pointing her finger in the direction of the president's face.
You saw it right there. She was there to greet him upon his arrival to the valley, but apparently he wasn't so happy to see her. According to both camps, the president confronted her about what he calls a false account of their last White House visit. In Brewer's book, Scorpions for Breakfast, she called President Obama condescending and patronizing. At the time, the White House called it a good meeting.
Well, I caught up with the governor last night, and here's what she told me about that tangle on the tarmac.
A picture is what it is, but I must say that I was not hostile. I was trying to be very, very gracious. I respect the office of the president, and I would never be disrespectful in that manner.
Well, the governor went on to tell me she is still surprised at what happened and wasn't angry when speaking with the president. What do you make of this tiff between her and the President Obama? Was the tarmac the right place for this issue? And what about the governor shaking her finger in the direction of the president's face?
Yeah, joining us to discuss this topic and more, we have today's guest, Shan Mann from 98 KUPD. You cannot escape this picture no matter where you go.
I know. I'm
everywhere.
telling you right now, you should never point your finger at anyone.
And I must say, she did not point her finger at me during our conversation.
That is good.
She did say that she was, during all of this, she was telling me, though, that she's very animated and she was talking with her hands. And as a matter of fact, she was saying just like this, that she was talking with her hands.
You're pointing your finger in my face right now.
I'm sorry.
Didn't realize
it's not like I have a gun.
You should shut up.
But it was like this, that she was pointing her fingers like this, seriously. And she says that she was just talking with her hands, and whenever the photo was snapped, that's the way it looked.
Right.
What do you think?
That's what I think. People like to make things a lot more than what they actually are. They were not there. And I have a coworker of mine at work. He works after me, and he's really animated with his hands.
Sure. He's
always pointing everything. And you could take a picture, and it looked like he'd be scolding me. So I don't know whether or not. I'm sure that they clearly have their differences. But I don't believe that she would go to. I don't know. I don't believe she'd go to the lengths to be like, I don't think that you should be XYZ. And pointing at him, regardless who the commander-in-chief is, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, I think you still need to give respect to that person because they did work hard.
Hopefully, that is not what she was doing. And if she just was caught in an unfortunate position with her finger like this, you know.
I mean, how many other pictures have shown up of that exchange? I mean, have any other pictures shown up? It's just that one picture.
It's that one image, that one snapshot right there that image that you're looking at right there on your television screen is not going away anytime soon, of her with her finger in his direction.
If you really analyze it, though, he doesn't look too upset. I mean, he doesn't have a perturbed look on his face, and she doesn't. Well, you can't really tell because it is a side
It's
profile.
almost like he's in mid-blink there. I'm no Ansel Adams, but as I look at this photo here, it's almost like he's in mid-blink, and I wonder if she was just being animated, as she told me last night.
Maybe they were just talking about fantasy football scores.
Oh, you know,
that's what she's talking about right there.
That can get heated. Well, you know, I think why this photo is so popular right now is because when it was taken, there was somebody, you know, there were people on the ground who were there to listen to the conversation, and of course, again, it was a bit of a tense one. So I think hopefully we're not misinterpreting that picture.
Okay, Shan Mann, you have so many Facebook friends that you had to create a secondary Facebook page.
I did create.
I do want to know, though, what kind of feedback are you hearing on this from your fans?
People just, they get really heated anyway when anything political is put out there, and I try to stay away from anything political. And when I tell them, look, this is, if I'm going to put this picture up, it's about laughs. What caption would you put on this? Then it turns political. It's been kind of mixed. Some people side with Barack Obama. Some people side with Jan Brewer. They say, you know what, he hasn't allowed for the right monies to come to the border, and it gets really heated. And I try to for me, it's all about rock and roll.
You know, too bad it can't all be as great as rock and roll. I mean, this is a very contentious topic. In fact, on our Facebook page, we have never gotten so many comments as we have on this one. And you are split right down the middle. Half of you siding with our president and half of you siding with our Governor Jan Brewer.
And this was the top story on all the national news outlets. And here's the book right here. And I think that we are talking about it. It's leapfrogged many other books on the bestseller list,
It really has. On Amazon.com, it has their movers and shakers in the last 24 hours, and Governor Brewer's book is now number 2.
Hey, wow.
Good for her.
So it went from around, I think it was 335 earlier today to now 2 on this list. That's
So it's piqued a lot of interest.
wow. Okay, let's see what some of our Facebook
Oh, I'm sorry,
fans-
that was rude. I was pointing at you. I did
You're
not mean to do
pointing at
that.
the camera.
I was pointing at the camera. Our
Somebody
viewers-
DVRing this is going to hit the pause button and take offense to that. I'm just telling you.
I hope not. I
Internet
hope not.
memes later on of Rebecca Thomas pointing.
Hands behind my back. I will not talk
You're being
about them.
animated.
I'm Italian. I tend to use my hands sometimes. All right. Susan writes, this ridiculous woman needs to pull her finger out of the face of the President of the United States of America and learn some respect. She is equally lacking intelligence and manners and is an embarrassment to the state of Arizona. But not everyone agrees.
Chelsea Gomez, that's right, is saying, I'm actually proud of her. She had the guts to stand up to him, unlike everyone else. He's had numerous less than cordial moments toward her.
And Neil Cohen writes, this makes me sad and mad that the governor would act so shamefully. It was a cheap photo op by Jan to sell more of her noxious books.
And Beverly Morris writes in, Obama should have waited for a private meeting or at least less public to say anything about her book. By doing what he did shows arrogant and unprofessional behavior for the President of the United States.
So you have a balance of opinions there.
And great
you're not-
opinions.
You're not going to change anyone's thoughts on this
I'm sure
one.
there's some political grandstanders out there, but I don't think that was like really an intention. Even though she has the book out, I don't think she was going, hey, by the way, in my book.
And it's something else noteworthy in all of this. We have another GOP debate tonight. I'll be curious to know if just because the spotlight has been put on Governor Brewer and what's been happening here, when you look at the pure political lines here,
Right.
if any of those candidates are going to seek her out, trying to get.
That would be
will-
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, time will tell.
Okay.